Season 42, war number 7, and we're up against 4 Loki. And this time my team will be Tigra, Valkyrie and Future Ant-Man. I will be taking path 6 in section 1, as well as that kitty Pryde on the shared fight, along with that Zemo on the hazard shift node. And then I will be taking path 8 in section 2, as well as that Havok and Sersi on the shared fights. And as for the boss island, I will be going for that Shocker and Storm Pyramid X. So I got quite a few fights this time around, most of which are with Future Ant-Man, so this is gonna be a fun one. Up first we have a Sauron on the combat deja vu prowess and spiked armor nodes. I'm taking this fight with Future Ant-Man. And I will be using a regeneration boost here to start with, just to offset any of that damage I take from the spiked armor node. The game plan is to just rush to my special 2 and then drop it while the power detonation is active, so that it gets the burst damage, and that either finishes this fight or at least gets very close to it. And that's essentially all there is to it. Future Ant-Man, being a tactic attacker, completely shuts down the defense tactic. All the prowesses that Sauron gets just get completely removed, and he cannot get the special damage bonus or the power gain from them, making him a pretty simple defender. And then next up we have an Elsa Bloodstone on the aggression prowess and critical setup nodes. I'm taking this fight with Future Ant-Man as well. And the game plan is essentially the exact same as it was for the previous fight, although for some reason I decided to go for a special 1 here first to make my special 2 hit harder, but that's really not necessary. As we saw in the previous fight, a special 2 even without any of the disintegration debuffs will be more than enough to handle these fights. So while the previous fight lasted less than 30 seconds, at least around 30 seconds, this one is gonna take a little bit longer, but even then it's a very simple one. Elsa Bloodstone isn't really a difficult defender by any means, unless the opponent placed with the recoil masteries, which usually doesn't happen in these wars at least. And then we have a kitty Pryde on the event flow knockdown and right back added nodes. Once again I will be using Future Ant-Man for this, to be able to remove all of her prowesses without any issues. Without them she can't phase, so as a defender she doesn't really do anything at that point. So game plan is to get the special 2, do a parry heavy here to remove the event flow protection and to get the passive fury. And now all I need to do is just drop that special 2 before the protection comes back. And as we see here, it's more than enough damage. Fight lasted around 30 seconds once again, and Future Ant-Man stays at full health. He's honestly just so good that I'm very glad I took him to rank 5. And then we have a Zemo on the hazard shift, incinerate and shock node along with aggression prowess, and I'm taking the fight with Future Ant-Man. And the game plan here is pretty simple, just get the special 2, throw it while the power detonation is active, and then repeat until Zemo falls. Ant-Man's awakened ability here handles the incinerate debuffs quite well by reducing the duration by 90% and then triggering a regeneration buff, healing himself for 3% of his missing health, so the lower I get, the more it heals. He doesn't have any protection against shock, so that is why I have Odin's shock resistance here, along with the protection and aptitude as well. And those two are not needed. The shock resistance is the only one that's not essential, but extremely useful for this matchup here. So, as I said, the game plan is to use my special 2s while the power detonation is active, and then just repeat that over and over again. And whenever you do finish your special 2, embed a special from Zemo so that the power detonation does not trigger a disintegration debuff by expiring. And that way his cleanse charges never go away and you will never get rooted in the fight, making it very simple. Next up we have a Havok on the Hazard Shift Shock and Bleed node along with Conflictor, and I'm taking this fight with Future Ant-Man. The game plan here is once again very simple. I'm just getting to my special 2, throwing it while the power detonation is active, and that should just about do it for this fight. Odin's shock resistance pre-fight along with Ant-Man's Awaken ability handle both of the Hazard Shift debuffs here just fine, making it a very simple fight. I will never be triggering any debuffs either, so Conflictor never triggers, and since I'm constantly power burning Havok, he can't stack up any of his plasma. And that makes Future Ant-Man one of the, if not the best option for this fight in the whole game, and he went down in just about 30 seconds once again. And then we have a Rintrah on the Inevitable Power Efficiency and Opportunist node, and I'm taking this fight with Valkyrie. Once again, this one is gonna be a pretty textbook fight for Valkyrie. I'm only gonna be hitting the opponent's block, building up both the Pierce and the Bulwark buffs, and getting to my special 2, and at that point the fight is basically over. I build both of the buffs because all the Pierce and the Bulwark effects on Valkyrie increase the potency of the Fury on the special 2, meaning that the more buffs you have, the more damage you do, and well, since getting to the special 2 takes a while anyways, might as well put that time to use by stacking the Bulwark buffs at the same time. Now, since this fight is basically identical to any other Valkyrie against Rintrah fights I have taken recently, there really isn't much more for me to say. I basically explained everything there is to explain, and yeah, it's not like I've learned something new or some new trick recently that would make this fight any different, any better, any faster. It isn't, it's the exact same fight every single time. Well, at least for now, but I really don't think there is gonna be anything else or anything new to add to this, so just gonna let this fight play out and catch you with the next one. Alright, now that that is out of the way, next up we have an infamous Iron Man on the Inevitable Power Efficiency and richer nodes. I'm taking this fight with Future Ant-Man, and the game plan here is to completely bypass the regeneration phase by nuking him down with a special 2 before he gets to trigger the regen. To do that, I first get to my special 3, drop a full combo finishing on a light to be able to throw my special 2 instead while the power detonation is active. I do this to start with to get him lower without triggering the regeneration phase, and now I just need to wait out for the power detonation to expire for the disintegration debuff, and now that I'm at my special 2 disintegration on the opponent, I just throw my special 2, the power detonation activates, giving me the burst damage on the rest of my special 2, and he gets completely nuked. I needed to throw my special 2 before the regeneration phase started, because during the regen you are special locked and you cannot throw your specials. So that worked out pretty perfectly. And then next up we have a Sersi on the Mega Stand, and when I open nodes, I'm taking this fight with Tigra, and the game plan was to nuke this fight with a single special 2 to start with. I used an advanced power boost to get a head start, and now I bait heavy attacks, punish them with my heavy to try to get to my special 2, but since the neutralize fell off here, if I had baited a heavy attack she would have triggered the glancing buff, and then it would have made the fight a lot longer than it needs to be, so instead I just threw my special 1 to get her cornered and to trigger the neutralize once again. There the protection was just about to come back, I threw another special 1 and the knockdown just lined up perfectly with the protection coming back, so it got removed immediately afterwards, allowing me to nuke the fight down with my special 2. So while it didn't go exactly as planned, it was still a very quick fight, and I basically finished at full HP anyways, so it only lost a few seconds. And then we have yet another shocker on the safeguard mini-boss node, and I'm taking the fight with Tigra. Since I still have the advanced power boost active, I just went straight in, and the game plan is to bait and punish 2 heavy attacks with my heavy, then nuke the fight down with about 2 special 2s, and that's all there is to it. If the fight goes well, Shocker will never be able to throw any of his special attacks, meaning that there is really no risk of dying here. He can't ramp up his charges high enough to trigger his unblockable either, meaning, well, this. He drops like a sack of rocks. Then we have the final fight of this war, a Storm Pyramid X on the Stunning Affliction and Polka Dot Power mini-boss node, and I'm taking the fight with Future Ant-Man. Since I still had the advanced power boost active here, the game plan is to just start the fight with the special one to trigger a Disintegration debuff on the opponent, which counts as a damaging debuff for Polka Dot Power, giving me free power gain that lasts just enough to get to my special 2, allowing me to speed things up quite a bit here. Storm Pyramid X likes to glance basically all of your basic attacks, but not special attacks, so if you were to do this fight without the advanced power boost, it would take quite a while, punching her, getting glanced over and over again, so having the boost active for this is definitely the easier way to go. Now all I need to do at this point is to just wait for the power detonation to activate on the opponent, drop my special 2, and that should speed things up quite a bit. It doesn't finish her, but it gets her close enough that a few combos should do the job, and there isn't any risk of dying to this fight unless you glance on literally everything, and then the power gain from the defender tactic gets out of hand, giving her a special 3. As for the results, unfortunately we did end up losing 3-6. This season has just been an inconsistent mess, and there really isn't anything we can do about it at this point. Just gotta ride it through and hope the rest goes better, so that we can at least finish in the top 10.